So firstly, I have to explain what's really called eliminate. What's really called Dhutanga. If we say Dhutanga, which means we can eliminate or we can shake or we can remove the defilements and practicing Dhutanga. So even last we have already talked about the basic theory of the practice. As we have known that as we have precepts are compulsory for ordained persons or for meditators. But for ascetic practice, it's not compulsory. It's extra practice. So here we have to start talking about Dhutanga practice. Those who realize and know the benefits of ascetic practice undertake this practice. We should have special quality such as trueness of wish, abhijja, contentment, sandhuti, and effacement, sanlekha, and seclusion, viveka. And the arising of knowledge that make him willing to practice noble trainings. This is called ida dhammatita. So here I have to explain the first part, the benefit. Firstly, we have to know the benefits of practicing Dhutanga. As we have already explained, we can eradicate, eliminate, or remove the defilements. There will be other benefits according to. And we can also have special quality by practicing Dhutanga, as we have mentioned here, trueness of wish, abhijja. Although we just use the Pali words abhijja very simply, but it's not that. It is like if trueness of wish in 4 opposites. We may not expect many robes or clothes, food, residence, and medicine. If you wish a lot or more than necessary, that means we don't have abhijja. Then when we talk about Indian foods, we'll have already explained there. For example, we must accept the food as much as we can consume. If we accept more than we can consume, this is also no more abhijja. Then moderating the donors or devotees, we may have more than we can consume. We may have many foods more than we can consume. But when we are going to eat, then we can also eat also trueness of wish. We can also say moderate, already explained there. For example, sometimes we cannot eat. So if perceptions, we will accept only the evidence about. Then we can also have like contentment, sandhuti, and also about. Actually, these are not much different from abhijja and contentment, sandhuti. But when we talk about sandhuti, there can be four types, as we mentioned before, about the robes, about the clothes, about the resident. Then when we talk about contentment, it will be a little bit different from apicca, although something similar to apicca. The first one is contentment with what we get. That means we don't expect more than we can get. Then another one is contentment with what we can use or what we can consume according to our ability. And the last one is contentment with whatever is suitable for us. So it will be a little bit different. Similar effacement. This is actually Sanleka. Sanleka also similar to contentment, seclusion, viveka. See, for our Sanleka, it will be very, very long discourse we have in Tikha Nikaya Sanleka Sutra. It will be very long list. And for our seclusion, we have different types of seclusions. If we can live alone, this is also called bodily solitude. Then we also have the mental solitude or mental seclusion. That if we can enter or we can avoid entering into jhana attainments or other fruition attainments or any other attainments, it can be upati viveka. The mind is free from defilements. Also, if we can enter into fruition attainments, the mind is also free from the aggregate because it will take nibbana as object. Okay, in brief, and sometimes we need aggregate because willingness to practice. We also need willingness, the three trainings. So it can come from the knowledge. If we are knowledgeable, wise enough, we have willingness to practice the noble trade. We can also give rise to the knowledge that make ourselves willing to practice the noble trainings. So these are basic things we have to understand something about ascetic practice. And there are 13 types of ascetic practice that I mentioned in Borax teaching. So Pansugulika is the red robe wearer. Then Detyuvarika, 3 robes wearer. So these 3 are about the clothes. So these 2 are only about the clothes. Pansugulika, red robes, you can call it many pieces of clothes, different types of clothes. Later I have to elaborate the one. Detyuvarika, only 3 robes. We will not keep any extra robes. This is called Detyuvarika. The ants food eater, that means they just go for Pindapada and then take the foods, have the foods. The Spadana Charika, 3. Pindapadika, the ants food eater, that means they just go for the house-to-house 6. Padapedika, the woeful eater. Then Kalupacha, but the later food refuse, the later user. Vedapadika, the answer eater, this is also one of this is the first one. Sabadana Jarika, the house to house seeker, this is 2. Ekasanika, the one sitting eater, the 3, this is 3. Then Patapedika, the woeful eater, the Dhutangas, the concerning with the food. So we are going to take food or when we are going to eat food, we can practice this Dhutanga. The next one is Aranyika. This one is the forest dweller. Then Rukamulika, the tree food dweller. Apokasika, the open air dweller. Sosanika, the underground dweller. And Yatasandatika, any pet dweller. So these are about residents, about the place we live. So the last one is the Nesaja. So Nesachika, this is the sitter. So that means he does not lay down, he can sit or walk on, maybe stand. Only three body posture, not 4 body posture for him. This is called Nesachika, the sitter. This is just about posture. Without sleeping, you may meditate whole day, whole night, like that. So these are the ascetic practice. If we summarize, it will be about the food, about the clothes, about the food, about residence, and the last one is about posture, only sitting or standing or walking. This is called Nesachika. The main point, the main idea of Nesachika is lying down. Okay, now we have to continue the characteristics, etc. Whenever we talk about the Buddha's teaching, especially about ultimate reality, we will talk about the characteristics, the function, the manifestation, the proximate cause. So now, the Buddha's teaching, especially, we have to talk about the characteristics of Dhutanga. Dhutanga samadhana chetana lakkhana. You cannot find this Pali because I have to make my own sentence constructions because it just mentioned briefly there. The characteristics of Dhutanga is the volitions of undertaking. Actually, this undertaking also, the volition undertaking also associated with wisdom. Without wisdom, we cannot do the right things. Actually, this undertaking also thoughts. That is why, although here we talk about the volitions of undertaking as the characteristics of Dhutanga, we should also understand that the volitions of undertaking were associated with wisdom. Lolapa Vidansana Rasa, it has the functions of eliminating cupidity. So here we have to understand one more thing about cupidity. That means we wish to get this and that and many different things. Right? We can wish to possess many different things. As a lay person, you may have many different colors, many different designs. You may have many different types of clothes. Right? People have many different types of clothes. They have different designs, different colors. Then for our ordained person, it should be very simple. This is called eliminating cupidity. Sometimes, although we have to use the same color, but we may have different brands, different quality of the clothes, then it also can make attachment, clinging to the ropes. That is why the purpose of Dhutanga is for Saneka, or as we have mentioned before, sureness or wish, contentment, effacement, and seclusion. That is why if we don't have all these qualities, we don't have Dhutanga practice. So here eliminating cupidity means we have to overcome greed, attachment, or wishing many different things. This is the functions of Dhutanga. Then the next one. Nilolupa bhava vajupatanam. The manifestation is the productions of non-cupidity. This one is easier to understand. Then the last one, apitadadi ariya dhamma bhatatanam. The prosmic core is the noble state, consisting of pureness of wish and so on. So that one is the prosmic cause. Then one more thing we have to talk about it. Without the main precepts, if we practice Dhutanga, it's not effective. Also, we are not wise enough. Even last week, I have already talked about one bhikkhu. He came to my monastery. And he said he lived in the China ground. I thought, he was treating a practitioners. He may have very good morality. But later I realized that I have to remind him, please study more Vinaya. If you don't study Vinaya, although you practice Dhutanga, it's not that much meaningful. So it's not, Dhutanga is not compulsory. But if we can practice Dhutanga, we can overcome many, many types of greed, many different types of attachment. Attachment to the clothes, food, residence. Also, there are many other attachments. That's why the prosmic cause is the noble states, regards to the noble dhamma, the question of pureness of wish, etc. So then I have already listed out before. Right? Pureness of wish, abhijja. We have sanuti, contentment, then sanika, effacement. Then we also have seclusions, viveka. We may have all these quality. If we have this quality, we can practice Dhutanga. If we have a lot of desire, a lot of wish, we cannot practice Dhutanga. If we practice Dhutanga with wrong thoughts, it cannot be effective. Another thing is, there can be big disturbance. Okay, now, where can we undertake this practice? Then, at the time of the Buddha, mostly, they will undertake the Dhutanga practice from the Buddha. But now, the Buddha entered Nirvana. We don't have living Buddha anymore. We cannot undertake this practice from the Buddha. At the time of the Buddha, there are some devotees or some Buddha disciples. They also practice from the great disciple, like Venerable Mahakassapa. He was Dhutanga practitioners. Many of his disciples were also Dhutanga practitioners. Then now we don't have Venerable Mahakassapa. He entered Nirvana already. If there's no Buddha, no great disciple, then we can also undertake Dhutanga from an Arhat. If we don't have an Arhat, we can undertake Dhutanga practice from a non-returner. If we don't have non-returner in our community, we can also undertake Dhutanga practice from once returner. If there's no once returner in our community, we can also undertake from Sri Antara, Sodapanna. If there's no noble persons in our community, now we can undertake Dhutanga from a Tipitaka memorizer. So that means, actually, Tipitaka memorizer is really very, very rare. Very few people. Even in Myanmar, we have, I think, around 12 or something like that. Not many. Anyway, so if we don't have noble persons, we can undertake the Dhutanga practice from a Tipitaka memorizer. This means he's a really knowledgeable bhikkhus, right? But if we don't have Tipitaka memorizer, we can also learn from two Pitaka memorizer. If there's no more Tipitaka memorizer, we can also learn, we can also undertake the Dhutanga from one Pitaka memorizer. If there's no one Pitaka memorizer, we can also undertake from one Nikaya memorizer. We have 5 Nikaya. We can undertake from a bhikkhu who can memorize one Nikaya. For example, like a Tikha Nikaya, not many suttas, right? For about the Majjhima Nikaya also, we can calculate suttas easily. For Anguttara Nikaya, it will be more difficult because many suttas. Sauddha Nikaya, more difficult because many suttas. Khuddaka Nikaya, more maxis, many collections. So we can undertake from one Nikaya memorizer. And if there's no one Nikaya memorizers, there will be a teacher of commentaries. I mean, who can teach commentary? Or who can learn, who has already learned, a teacher of learn, who has learned. If there's no more practitioner, no more teacher like that, we can undertake Dhutanga from the observer of the ascetic practice. So, these are the living things. If there's no such person, we just live alone in the forest. We don't wish anybody to know we are practicing Dhutanga. Now what should we do? We can undertake Dhutanga from a Tridya. So we mentioned very long process when we are going to undertake from a Tridya. So they are mentioned, we must pay respect to the shrine as if in the presence of living Buddha. You mentioned like that, right? So when we are going to undertake Dhutanga practice, we must pay respect to the shrine or Jitiya as if in the presence of living Buddha. So as we respect living Buddha, okay, let alone living Buddha, like as we respect our teacher. Right? You also have teacher, I also have teacher, right? I respect my teacher, you also respect your own teacher. As we respect our teacher, or as we respect living Buddha, we have to pay respect. Like cleaning the shrine rooms, or like sweeping in the compound, something like that. Then after cleaning everything, we can undertake the precepts. If we don't have Titiya like that, we can also undertake by ourselves. Then we can undertake alone. This is also possible, right? So here we will continue the first part. This one is the story of two brothers in Jitiya Hill. Actually, this one is about the good wish, or how we must have our perceptions when we are going to undertake the precepts. It's not for fame or gain. There are some practitioners expecting gain. They may undertake the precepts. They may undertake Dhutanga practice. This is wrong. Improper intention, unwise intention. There are some practitioners, they may undertake the Dhutanga for fame. This is also wrong perception. Then similarly, there are some people, they may expect, oh, this is, if I practice Sila, people may praise me, honor me, respect me, like that. If we have this kind of perceptions, this kind of attitudes, when we are practicing, this is also wrong. So at least we must have good intentions to practice Dhutanga. Here, the story of two brothers in Jitiya Hill. Okay, I will talk about it first. So the two brothers are living in the same place. But it's the rainy season, also raining. So it's in the rainy season, we must live in another roof. Although we are Dhutanga practitioners, without living rooms or living place, we must not spend on Vasa. Then the younger bhikkhu saw the elder sitting on his seat, and then he also another flashlight, one that strike. He could see very clearly his elder brother was sitting. Then the younger one asked him, "Andy, do you practice Dhutanga?" The elder one didn't wish his younger brother to know his practice. This is called sureness of wish. He just hides his own quality, his ability. It will be different from modern society, right? In modern society, we have to claim or we have to declare or we have to reveal our own identity. But according to Buddha's wish, about Dhutanga practitioners, we have to hide our identity, our ability or our quality. So he didn't wish his younger brother to know his practice, so he just lying down. After lying down, he undertook the ascetic practice by himself later. That's called, he didn't go to anybody, he did undertake by himself. This is called undertaking by oneself, as we have mentioned before, right? Not only that, the same case happened in two brothers, because this one is sitting is a one not Dhutanga, without lying down. I have already said, more than 30, the last one is no lying down. So at night, he was sitting, not lying down. The younger brother could understand or could recognize his elder brother was practicing Dhutanga. Not only that, they have the next case. One day they have got sugarcane from the village. The elder one has already cleaned his mouth, washed his mouth already. He has already eaten. The younger one offers sugarcane. Oh, it's not enough for me, he said. Then he asked, "Do you practice?" Elder one accepts sugarcane and then take it. So later he undertook the Dhutanga by himself. So this is actually the basics concept or the basic practice for Dhutanga. When we are going when you practice Dhutanga, we must have this kind of actually mind. We must not expect any gain or fame or any popularity in the community. We might not expect any respect, honor, or something like that. If we expect favor, honor, or praise, or something like that, these are wrong perceptions, wrong intentions when we are practicing Dhutanga. So now we have to start the first one, the ascetic practice, one Pansu Kulika, the red robe wearer. So here I just mention how we should undertake in Pali. Kapati Jivaram, Pati Kipami, Ansukuri Kangan, Samadhiyami. So Kapati Dhana Jivaram. Kapati is a householder, Dhana is the offers, Jivarami, robes. That means the robes of our householder. The Pati Kipami, I reject or I refuse. I refuse the robes of our householder. Pasukuri Kangan Samadhiyami. That I undertake using Pansukulika, red robes. This is the formula in Pali. We can also use any language. We can undertake easily using our own language also. Then we also have to know how to undertake this one. So although we just use only one passage, for example, Kapati Dhana Jivaram Pati Kipami, this is also okay. Only one of them is also okay. Pansukuli Samadhiyami also okay. We can use one or the two. Or we can also use two formula. This is also okay. So when we are going to undertake these precepts, we also mention, as we refused the robes of our vine offered to him, his hands by householder, he can be a red robe wearer. This is the first one I have to explain. So that means as long as he didn't accept the robes with his hands of our vine householder, he can still be a red robe wearer. So that means he can accept the robes thrown near his dwelling by householder or anybody. That means it can be a bhikkhu, it also can be a householder, it also can be divine beings or any living beings. They will throw a robes nearby his dwellings. He can also take the robe as Dhutanga, red robes. Then here we have the list of the robes he can get. I mentioned the practitioner can get one of the following kinds. One from China ground. So ancient time, even modern society, we have many people like that. For example, like when they throw away the dead body, they will use clothes to cover the dead body, or blanket or anything. They will cover the dead body. They will throw away. He can get the robes. If the dead body is a bhikkhu, we can also get the robes from the bhikkhu. This is called Pansukulika. Then this one is one from a shop. So that means, although we say the shop, this means that drop near the gate door of the shop or something like that. Now we can say like near the market, we can say like that, near the market. So they will throw away the ropes near the market, or they may drop, or maybe throw away, or maybe they may keep in something, like a rubbish heaps or something like that. They can get near the gate door of shop or market. Then the next one is from a street. So this one is also simple. They may throw away in the streets. Then one from a walking path. In the walking path, it's also very simple because see the middle of the street, right? They can throw away anything. Then the next one from a rubbish heap. This is a rubbish heap. We can get old clothes when they throw away. Then from a time bag. So although here we talk about the time bag, in reality, when the woman delivered the baby, they will clean the baby with the clothes, or rather they will throw away. That kind of clothes can be considered here as time bag. Then one from a washing place. So it can be many different conditions. Right? Washing place means we can something like someone on a jetty or something like that. They may wash the clothes, the kind of place. Then 9, one returning from channel ground after bath. So okay, one more thing. 8, one from washing place. That means actually it also can be after washing the dead body. I don't know in other country, in Myanmar, after somebody passing away, we take a shower, the dead body. After that, we may use the clothes to wipe out. So that kind of clothes can be considered from washing place. Then one returning from channel ground after bathing. So this kind of thing also can be, right? But like even, sorry, for bathing place, okay. Bathing place also from, sorry. Another thing is that although we talk about the from bathing place, this also came like a washing place. Then they, because it's very old, they will throw away. This kind of thing also can be considered as one from washing place. One returning from channel ground after bathing. This one is after going to channel ground, right? Then they will take a shower and then they will use the clothes. After that, they will throw away. This item, mostly Indian people will know that this kind of culture. Asian time, after coming back from channel ground, they take a shower. Even we have one story about Visakha. One day Visakha came to the Buddha with his hair wet because coming from channel ground, she took a shower and she took a shower and her hair is still wet. She came to the Buddha like that. We have this kind of story. Anyway, this is ancient culture. After coming back from channel ground, they will take a shower. And they will use some clothes when they take shower and they will throw away the clothes. They consider that was inauspicious. Right? Then they will throw away. Then the next one is one from scorched by fire. So that one is also simple because of the Asian culture. If their clothes are burned by fire, then this is inauspicious. They will throw away. Similarly, one ignored by the cattle, by cattle. This is also they say, they don't think this is auspicious. This is auspicious again. They think this is auspicious. They will not use anymore. One cannot buy and. Although we can also understand like it, cannot buy termite is also possible. Then similarly, one cannot buy rat. So people consider if their clothes cannot buy cattle, ants, or termites or rats, it is auspicious. That's why they will not use it anymore. They will throw away. Even we have one Jataka story about it. Even I think when the Buddha was going to use some Pansakula clothes, they also say, no, some Buddha disciple is going to use this kind of clothes. They say, this is auspicious, don't use, I will offer you good clothes, something like that. We have this kind of story. So again now, we have now 14, one cut at the edge. So this one is actually in the corner or somewhere, then it will be cut off, cut by something, cut by a knife or anything. They think this is unauspicious, they will not use anymore. Then one cut at the border. So there will be some threads in the border, and some of the threads are cut off, and they will not use. This is they also consider that one is unauspicious. Then this one is one carry as a flag. This one is we can find this kind of clothes, especially when you right? Like for example, some of the soldiers, they will fight. When they win, they will use the flag, right? They will erect some flags. This is called carry as flag. Then we can also take this one as a rope. It's a little bit risky, right? A little bit dangerous. Then 17, one from an anthill, as offered as in a shrine. So that means sometimes they think anthill is also a shrine. That's why they may offer clothes to the anthill. We can also get the clothes from anthill like that. Then one given by an ascetic. This one is very simple. For any kind of ascetic. Any kind of ascetic, it can be like a Buddhist ascetic, non-Buddhist ascetic. Then 19, one from consecration. In modern community, it's almost impossible. But one more thing, in Myanmar, we have some culture, especially when we are going to ordain as a Samnera. We have one ceremony about this one, consecration ceremony before ordination as a Samnera. There, we don't use any special clothes, but maybe ancient time they may have some special clothes for this kind of practice. Okay, now, next one is 20. One produced by supernormal power for bhikkhus. So for bhikkhus, they have special power, special karma. That's why when I say bhikkhu, then they can catch the clothes and bowls. Instead of 3 ropes and bowls, by the power of their past karma. They don't need to look for it. They don't need to purchase or buy. So this is also called Civara Dhutanga, right? One from a highway. This one is also easy. They were thrown away in the highway. One born by the wind. This one also easy because it's carried by the wind, right? Then next one is one offered by deities, one from the sea. Altogether, we have 24 types of clothes he could get. as a Pasugula. Then the practitioner should take as he needs, although get good qualities. Sometimes we can get many good qualities. Right? Then we have to take only what we need. If we take a lot, whatever then we get, that is not abhijja, not fewness or wish. That is why we must cut only as much as we need. If we take it more than we need, this is not for Dhutanga. This is greed, right? Then here we have some explanation about flags erected by sailors as a flag should be taken as a red rose when they cannot see it. And sometimes some area the sailor will erect the flags. Then when they leave, nobody can see. Very far from them, then we can take it. The flag erected in Vanderfee should be taken as the red rose when shoulders from both sides have left. This is very risky. In modern community, is really very risky, because mostly if somebody use their flag, or somebody like a step on their flag, right? This is like a challenge in their country, something like this. That's why it's very risky. That's why the flag erected in Vanderfee should be taken as a red rose, and when both soldiers from both sides have left. So as long as they are there, we cannot take it. And the one from highway and one bond by the wind should be taken 2 or 3 days after seeing them, in case the owner may have them forgotten. The owner may leave them forgotten. So that means if we see something beside the road, we have to consider, right? We have to wait until the real owner comes. Sometimes some practitioners are a little bit in a hurry. As soon as they saw, they will take it. This is a little bit risky, because if there's the owner can misunderstand as a thief. Okay, in every Dhutanga, there are 3 types of practitioners. That means, according to the Pali one, we can say like the superior one, medium one, or inferior one. We can say like that. Maybe like a standard one, we can say like that. The superior one, medium one, and standard one. We can say like 3 types of practitioners. So here we have the legs. The straight one will take the ropes from channel ground, etc. Although here I just use channel ground, it can be only the thing we have mentioned before. B, the medium one will take the rope from who leaves the clothes with the thoughts that the bhikkhu will take it as a red rope. So that means if we know one bhikkhu is practicing Civara Dhutanga, his rope is also very poor now already. We do offer the rope, that's why we just keep nearby his kuti. Or maybe in the staircase of his kuti. When he come up, he could see and he can take it. Right? So the medium one will take this kind of ropes. Then C. The mild one will take the ropes from one who gives the clothes by placing nearby. Okay, so the previous one is it. Right? Or the previous one is it. Absent of him, right? He is not there. And the last one is nearby. So that means does not keep into his hands. Just somebody will keep nearby him. This is the last one. So the bridge of this practice, we have to deal with the last part of this practice. The bridge of this practice is when accepting the robes offered by donors, especially householders or any bhikkhus offer into his hands. So there are no red robes, such as the robes offered to Sangha, the robes offer wine going for alms rounds, the robes offer according to seniority, and the robes offered to lay residents in a certain monastery. So these are known red robes. If we accept this one, this is a no red robes. So one more thing here, rain resident bhikkhus we have mostly in Paudoya or any monastery, we have Vasa robes, right? In the very beginning of Vasa, they offer the robes as a Sangika properties. We have to share all these robes. So all these kind of donations cannot be considered as red robes. As soon as we wear or we accept this kind of robes, this is breaking precepts. Break into Dhutanga. Then, okay, we have, if a bhikkhu who does not accept the robes according to the seniority of it, then he can use his red robes. So that means he will not accept the robes. That means, sorry, he did not accept the robe of one, sorry. He just offer this robe, right? Not for himself. Then he can use it as red robes. So that means he don't accept, but he offer as red robes. Then this also can be considered as rasagula. Okay, now the beauty of the practice. There are 4 types. A donor leaves robe near a bhikkhu with the offering to his hands. The bhikkhu offer it to a red robe wearer in his hand. It is pure in one side. So that means there can be 2 different steps. The first step, donor didn't offer to his hands, but he just leave the robes nearby. The bhikkhu take it and offer to another bhikkhu's red robe wearer in his hand. Right? And this is also called pure in one side, because the donor didn't offer to his hand. 2, the donor offer a bhikkhu's robes in his hand, but the bhikkhu leaves it a red robe wearer. This is also impure in one side. 2 steps. Donor offer to bhikkhu's hand. Bhikkhu leaves, right? Then 3. The donor leaves a robe near a bhikkhu. The bhikkhu also leaves it near a red robe wearer. This is pure in both sides. Then the donor offers a bhikkhu a robe in his hand. A bhikkhu offers it to red robe wearer in his hand. It is poor as red robes. That means not successful Dhutanga practitioners. So these are about the first part of Dhutanga practice. Then we have the next one, Titivarika, the 3 robes wearer. So here we have to remember, if we don't have Titivara Adhitthana, we cannot practice. We must have Titivara Adhitthana. So here we have to know 2 different things. Dhutanga Titivara and Vinaya Titivara, 2 different things. Actually, this part is going to talk about Dhutanga Titivara. When we are going to practice 3 robes wearer, how we should do, right? very basic practice is we must have 3 robes Dhutanga. Without 3 robes Dhutanga, we cannot do it. Then here we have the formula to undertake this Dhutanga. Chatuta Jivaram Patikipami Tijuri Gangan Samadhiyami. Then here we have Chatuta Jivaram. Chatuta means 4th. Jivaram means clothes or robes, the 4th robes. Patikipami means reject or refuse. Which means I will not accept the 4th robes. Tijuri Gangan, that means only 3 separate robes. Samadhiyami, I will undertake. Sorry. Then the bhikkhu can keep the robes, determined if he cannot get enough clothes or thread to sew or to complete it. So that means sometimes we don't have enough piece of clothes. Although we have collected many different pieces of clothes, it's not enough for 3 robes or 8 robes. Then we can keep it. Determined, right? Then again, if he does not know how to sew or he's unhealthy, we can also keep it. Because we must know somebody, we must have somebody who know how to sew. Then after sewing or dyeing the robes, he cannot keep any extra robes. This is the basic formula, basic things we have to know. Then the strict one can wear the lower robes while dyeing or washing the upper robes and the double robes, or wear upper robes while dyeing or washing the lower robes. So here we have to know the rules. These rules. Here's only 3 robes: upper robes, lower robes, and double robes. So he must wash after wearing 1 day or 2 or 3 days. We must wash the clothes. Right? If we wash, then when we are washing upper clothes, we can wear lower robes. When we are washing lower robes, we can wear upper robes. But the upper robe is not allowed to wear around the waist. That means you cannot wear as the lower robes. The upper robe must not be lower robes. The upper robe can wear as a lower robes when we are washing. So if he lives in the forest monastery, far from the village, he can wash 2 robes at the same time, but he must live nearby in order that he can cover his body when somebody comes. This is for forest resident peoples. He lives alone in the forest. Right? Although he does not wear upper robes, it will be okay. Then here the medium one can wear the robes from the dyeing, from the dyeing rooms. So ancient time, I think the dyeing room, they may have some clothes to wear when we are dyeing the clothes. That's when the medium one can wear it. And the mild one can wear the robes from his close friends, or monastery properties, or other people's properties, such as bed sheets and so on. It's just allowed one dyeing robes. So this is the first thing we have to know. Then recently I have read some books about PCRO, especially about this Dhutanga practice. According to, as I write on here, according to PCRO, it's not allowed to wear the robes of other bhikkhus often or occasionally. Actually, he also pointed out some grammatical error, right? And he also made some corrections in the Visuddhimagga. So according to his corrections, it means it's not allowed to wear the robes of other bhikkhus frequently or occasionally. Then one more thing. Next one is, it's allowable to use bed sheets. Here, site does not mention. The site of bed sheets that does not mention. Also, the shoulder cloths, 1 span wide and 3 cubits long. By Beckley measurements, 1.5 span wide and 4 cubits and 1 span long. This is it. Okay. The formula we have to understand. Inner clothes mean here now we also use inner clothes, right? Inner clothes must be here the biggest should be 1.5 span wide and 4 cubits and 1 span long. This is the measurement. And again, the last part, the breadth of this practice is so here mentioned to determine and to wear. Actually, if we have 1 feet and 1 feet length and 1 feet width and 2 feet. Yeah, we can like it, and maybe more than 2 feet, maybe around 2 feet, maybe 2 feet length. Then, so you mentioned 1 span and a half and 1 cubit and a half. According to if we have the first row like this, so we have to consider around facial tower. So we have to consider, right? If facial tower, we have to consider. If it's too big, then this is a fourth row already. If it's a small facial tower, then it's good enough. Then, okay. Now we have, today I just plan only 3 Dhutanga, Binda Bhatika, right? So the first 2 is about the clothes, now about the foods. Binda Bhatika. The unschooled eater. And here also we have the formula to undertake Samadhi. Maybe etc. The unschooled eater. And then here also we have the formula to undertake Samadhi. Right? Then the 40 kinds of means are not allowed to accept for unschooled eater. As the list of here. The 40 kinds of means are Sangha. This one is very simple because Sangha is offered to Sangha, not offered as the Pela Bada, right? And this is what's called Sangika Bada. Now, Odisa Bada, it may offer to specifying bhikkhus because like the selected bhikkhu, right? So sometimes they may have some good relationship with some bhikkhu, then they may invite only the bhikkhu with good relationship. Sometimes they may also choose because of their virtue or something like that. This is called selected bhikkhus. If we accept this kind of foods, we cannot undertake this Dhutanga. Nimadana Bhada, an invitation. And we offer for 1 day, 2 days, and so on by inviting bhikkhus. So you may have known from the Theravada, the biography of the elder, especially Arahat. In their past lives, they may offer foods, bhikkhus, and sangha for 7 days, something like that. They call Nimadana Bhikkhu, Nimadana Pada. So if we accept this kind of food, we cannot practice this Dhutanga. Then Salaka Pada. And now if we accept this kind of foods, we cannot practice Dhutanga. Now Pada, a meal offered in every half moon day. Let me try some out. So we have full moon day and dark moon day. We cannot practice Dhutanga. Now, Ascetic Practice, a meal offers in every Upasana day, 4 times a month. We have full moon day, new moon day, or we have small Upasana day. So altogether, 4 times a month. And the next one, Pradika Bada, a meal offered by the next day after Upasanas. So I have said 4 times a month. The following day of Upasana is called Pradika. Then this one is actually special food offer for when visitors come. They must be ready. That's when they offer for traveling bhikkhus or visiting bhikkhus. Then Gamika Bada, a meal for travelers, we will say. Then and Bada, a meal offer for the Nazan bhikkhus. Then we had Bada, a meal offered to the resident bhikkhus in a certain monastery. Then we'll offer in a certain, we have a house every day. We can say like this. Then Vara bhikkhus in a certain monastery in alternate day or every alternate day or something like that. So then here I mentioned, if a donor invites a offer every day, maybe they will offer a meal in my house. He doesn't say all bhikkhus, right? He didn't say Sangha Dema. Then the Dhutanga practitioner can accept it. Then, okay, this is the last part. Then the third one accepts alms brought both from before and from behind, and he will give his bowl to the donor or somebody while standing outside the door. This is the third one. So that means when they are going to practice, then they have to go for Beda Pada. And some houses, they may also have house dana. When some people come for Beda Pada, they may bring the bowl to their house and they may offer the fruits. Right? This kind of, then will be allowable. Then sometimes, they haven't got to their house. The people hasn't arrived at their house, but they come earlier than their house to the people and bring his bowl and offer him. This is also allowable. Then sometimes they had already passed their house. They may follow the bhikkhu and take the bowl back to his house and offer the food. It will be allowable for him. Then the next one is he will also accept alms fruits in his sitting place in the refectory. This is also allowed me to accept. By sitting or waiting for it that day. So in the very day, he is not waiting for that food. He will not accept it by sitting. Right? This is also the short one. We can say superior one. The beer one accepts and is brought to his sitting place in the refectory by will be different from previous one, right? But he will not accept or wait for it the next day. This is different from previous one. And the money one accepts and brought to his sitting place in the refectory by sitting or waiting for it in that day, the next day, and so forth. So that means he will wait for the food. Then, actually, this is the first part of Dhutanga practice. Also, this is the first part of the foods, right? We have already talked about clothes. We have already talked about the foods. The first part of the foods, we have 5 Dhutanga practice. Actually, these are Dhutanga practice. They are also extra practice for the bhikkhus. For about the lady devotees, right? Like a Titiwara is all impossible. But for Reprox Vayara is possible. For Samnida also, Samnida doesn't have Titiwara, right? Mostly when we offer as a Samnida, we don't have Titiwara Adhitthana. Although we have Titiwara, right? We don't have Titiwara Adhitthana. Although we don't, Adhitthana is also okay for Samnidas. But for bhikkhu, without Adhitthana is not allowable. Then, for about the foods, Pindapata, it can be involved for both Samnidas or bhikkhus, or it can be for bhikkhuni. But what about bhikkhuni Titiwara? According to Vinaya, bhikkhuni has to use 5 robes. Another one is like a inner clothes. Another one is about bathing clothes. Although they have 5 clothes, but they can also say this is Titiwara. And bathing clothes is not for every day. Sorry, bathing clothes is not for the all the one along the 5 clothes. The permanent is changeable. So that's why we have bhikkhuni also can say because we have to determine 3 robes. Anyway, so this is the first part of Dhutanga. I have to continue the next parts. Then it will be very, very maxi to practice for lay persons. Some people also may think this is extreme, too extreme. Yes, this is also extreme, sure. But when we wish to have more contentment, then we can also practice this one. Without practicing all these Dhutanga also, we can practice just normal sila. We can also practice vipassana. We can also attain attitude. This is our choice. Sometimes we wish to upgrade our value. We want to like operate things, or we to like overcome attachment. We have to practice all these things. Okay, now I will stop here. We overcome attachment to practice the 3 trainings, and we are able to get the benefit from practicing 3 trainings. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
you, Sadhu. And sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So just few quick reminders for participants. Please raise hand if you and sadhu, sadhu if you have question, and you may also send your question by chat. So Sadhu, may we proceed to the Q&A session now?
Okay.
Sadhu, please turn on your... Okay. So we'll start with this first send-in question. So the question is, we will start with this: can Sadhu develop strong child practice if did not have ascetic practices?
Actually, if we know the value or the benefit of the practice, then we may have strong desire, right? Of the practice. As long as we don't know have strong value, we don't have strong desire. For example, now everybody we have very strong desire to amend this
sutta to support this. If didn't requisite morality.
Actually, in mentioned only one thing has left to be metta. Then we go to like a pay back the devotees' gratitude, something like that, right? It's not enough. One thing has left, one like a pay back the devotees' gratitude, something not in chat. We have this kind
how to practice eating one time per day if the monk can accept a lemon from devotees in the morning and keep it to make lemon juice by himself as a medicine.
Actually, Sambara, with lime is like I didn't make it juice yet. So if we accept Bana Sambara and the juice in the afternoon, it's not allowable. So that means it we just keep all the Bana Sambara and if somebody make a juice.
Next question is in when a bhikkhu around the bhikkhu corpse at the charnel ground, and then they will remove the Sadhu explain what who will use the robe of the bhikkhu.
Also have any special rules for it, especially when we always ask the dead body. This actually represents Asura power around the coffin, right? You understand? Visualize the dead body. We are going to practice power now. when we are
Okay. Thank you, Sardo.
visualize the dead body when we are going to practice.
This question, may Bante Pauradamika please translate?
Vanami said, if the bhikkhu, he practiced there's Binda Bhatika, but when he got sick, he cannot go Binda Bhata. There's Binda Bhatika, but when he got sick and he cannot go Binda Bhata,
right?
So that time should he reading
Kilana Bhikkhu, Ami offer for Nazim Bhikkhu, Ami Bhikkhu for Inka, or he must go for Binda Bhata. Only two choice. Okay, this one.
Dhutanga.
Thank you, sir. This question, may Bante please translate?
The story. He considered
No Musavara. He didn't wish to reveal his identity. That's why he just lied down, right? We cannot see Musavara. He didn't say yes or no. He just lied down. Right?
Consider.
So similarly,
how to attain Arahan. So, one Dhutanga. So, is that true? Is that correct? According to what I understand, that. So, is that true that?
Actually, we don't will be possible. It depends on our bodily strength also. Actually, will be possible. It depends on our bodily strength also. Actually, okay, I have already said Dhutanga is not compulsory. It is extra practice. If we wish, we can do it. If we don't wish, we can. No.
Okay. There's no robe in this case. While he wearing a brown robe.
Okay, so that means you can relinquish previous one. And you can accept new one. It doesn't matter. Right? You don't have previous robes. It's okay. Just a change in the robes. Right?
Okay.
When one practicing the Pangsa Kulika is in different size and color. So the latest shadow.
见你一样的时间。
There are the different. So if different, we can say, okay, with a different quality or different color, we can say like that. So in this case, about dye is okay. We have to dye. So whatever color we have to sew and we have to dye. This is the normal. Other things we can choose because ancient time there were many terrible. Right? They will throw away. They can get the clothes easily. This will be easier. Even in modern society, we can get many different types of clothes. We can get easily, right?